from 553, and we're your hosts, John
and Carl. Today we're going to be talking about murder, weight loss, animals, and so much more, so stay tuned.
First, we're going to take it over to Skylar and Brooklyn, and they're going to share their thoughts on Ozempic.
Thank you, John. Today I'm going to be talking about a medicine called Ozempic. It's a medication that is mostly used to help people with type 2 diabetes, but recently it has been getting a lot of attention because people are using it to help with weight loss. I'll tell you a bit about how it works, why it's becoming popular, and what it means for the future, and what I think about it.
So, here's the background. Ozempic is a medicine that helps control blood sugar, and it's mainly for people with type 2 diabetes. It works by helping the body make more insulin and by reducing hunger. The cool thing is, when people use it, they end up eating less and feeling fuller, which leads to weight loss. This is because Ozempic also makes your stomach empty more slowly. In 2021, doctors started prescribing a stronger version of Ozempic called Wegovy, just for weight loss. This is when Ozempic became more popular for people who don't have diabetes, but want to lose weight.
Why is it relevant? Ozempic is becoming really important because a lot of people struggle with weight loss problems. Obesity is a big issue and people are looking for different ways to lose weight. Some people can't lose weight even if they try dieting and exercising, so a medicine like Ozempic might be helpful for them. It's not a magic pill, though it doesn't mean you don't have to eat healthy or exercise. It is a tool that can help with controlling hunger, which can make it easier to help stick to healthy habits.
So what is the impact of this? Ozempic has a big impact on weight loss, giving hope to people who've struggled with obesity and tried everything else. It helps them lose weight and feel better. If more people can lose weight, it can reduce health problems like diabetes, heart disease, and helping healthcare overall. But there are challenges. The demand for Ozempic is so high that there are shortages, making it harder for people who really need it, like those with diabetes, to get it. Also, some people might use it as a quick fix without making other healthy changes, which could cause problems.
The big picture is that obesity is a serious problem. It can lead to diseases like heart disease and diabetes, which are really dangerous. So having the options like Ozempic for weight loss can make a big difference for people who have tried everything and still struggle to lose weight. Ozempic helps by making you feel less hungry, but is not a quick fix. People who use it still have to make healthy choices like eating good food and staying active. It's important that people talk to a doctor before they start using it because the medicine could have side effects like feeling sick to your stomach. It's not the right solution for everyone.
So here's our opinion. So I think Ozempic is a great option for people who have trouble losing weight, especially when diet and exercise aren't enough sometimes. But it's not the only answer. Losing weight still requires making healthy changes to your lifestyle. You can't just rely on your medicine. Medicine like this can help, but it should be a part of a bigger plan that includes eating healthy and staying active. Even though Ozempic can help with weight loss, it's not a quick fix and shouldn't be used without thinking about the long term. People need to make sure they keep up with other healthy habits too. Sending it back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Brooklyn and Skylar.
We now have exciting news from Dejanay and Izzy.
If you look to the left, you'll see a picture of the panda, Bao Li and King Boa. Now, a short summary of this story is that the Smithsonian's Nation Zoo in Washington, D.C. will be receiving two giant pandas from China, one male and one female, named Bao Li and King Boa. The zoo will be housing the pandas under a 10-year breeding program agreement. The pandas that transferred to the U.S. represent a gesture of diplomatic friendship between China and the U.S. Washington will be receiving these pandas within the upcoming weeks.
Here's some background on those pandas. So this story started in October 2024, where China sent two giant pandas to Washington's National Zoo. This arrival marks the first time in 24 years that new pandas were introduced to the zoo, following the return of the previous pair to China in November 2023. This is the event that is part of China's ongoing panda diplomacy efforts, which is aiming to promote wildfire conservation and enhance bilateral ties.
Now for the relevance. This story is relevant because the arrival of these pandas symbolizes a positive development in the U.S. and China's relations from their previous tensions.
The big picture of this article is that the introduction of these pandas is significant and not only enriches the zoo's offerings, but is also showing a positive development between the U.S. and China.
So our opinion on this story is that this is good because it's not only going to make the zoo visitors happy because they're seeing more pandas, but it strengthens diplomatic ties between China and the US because they have come together to take care of these pandas.
Well, Carl, if that doesn't brighten up someone's day, I don't know what will.
You know what brightens up my day, John?
What's that?
True crime documentaries.
Well, you're in luck because Riley will be taking it over with an update on the Gabby Petito case.
Hi, I'm Riley. Have you guys heard about the new documentary on Netflix about Gabby Petito? You haven't? It's crazy. You have to hear this. It starts off talking about a young girl named Gabby Petito. She was 22 and lived in New York. The whole story starts off talking about her growing up as a child. She was always such a very warm, loving, creative person. Her mom even says that the first time that she was given a pen, she drew amazing artwork. She was such an amazing artist. The documentary talks a lot about her childhood and how she was. It talks a lot about like her growing up until she was at the age of 21 or 22. And it explains how she met her boyfriend, Brian. They explained that it was love at first sight. Like, as soon as they saw each other, they just knew they were meant for each other. After being together for a while, Brian and Gabby moved to Florida to live with Brian's parents and get closer to their family. They always planned to travel and they wanted to just explore the world. So soon after they moved to Florida, they decided to buy a van and travel the world. They left Florida and started traveling the world. Everything was amazing at first, but Gabby soon started seeing a lot of weird behaviors from Brian. She didn't think anything of it because she loved him and she just wanted to continue her journey with him. So before leaving Florida, she actually quit her job and decided to become a full-time blogger. So they start filming their life, they film their videos, like where they're going, traveling, and everything. You can tell in the videos Brian is very weird with what he says and definitely watches what he's saying because he doesn't want to say the wrong thing. Soon after, the documentary really shows that Brian's being very physically and mentally abusive. They even get pulled over by the cops and when they're in Utah, and the cops separated them for a night just because they realized that there was something going on, but they didn't want to actually take one of them into the station. So they separated them for the night, and the next morning, Gabby and Brian got back together, continued their journey on the road, and things kind of went back to normal, but there was still some really weird things happening that Brian was doing. Soon after, the relationship just kept getting more rocky and more rough, but they just kept going along. Gabby decided to stay in a hotel for a few days while Brian flew home to just see the family. When Brian was gone, she calls her ex-boyfriend and just talks to him. And in the documentary, it says that that was like her cry for help. That was like, how do I get out of this? She didn't know how to get out of this relationship. So he comes back, they finish their journey. Then one day at a restaurant, a witness sees them physically fighting in the street. They get into the car, they leave. And later that day, she posts her first YouTube video. She's been filming this whole journey and editing and constantly, and that was a big reason they were fighting. So she posts her first YouTube video. After that, there was no post. She stopped responding to everyone. She stopped responding to her parents. There was very odd text messages between Brian and Gabby that almost looked staged, like Brian was texting on both phones. About a day later, Brian arrives home in Florida with the van, but no Gabby. He tells his parents that Gabby stays at the hotel, or is staying at a hotel in Utah. And Gabby's parents are very worried because she's not answering. No one knows what's going on. No one knows where she's at, except for what Brian told his parents. But Brian's not answering his phone to anyone else, anything. So Gabby's parents call the police, put in a missing persons report, and the cops start searching. Well, the cops go to Brian's house. His parents refuse to talk to the police. They will not let the police talk to Brian. Nothing. They did state that Brian did have an attorney. Very weird, right? Why would all of a sudden he just get an attorney? As soon as Gabby's parents put in the missing persons report, they instantly start looking everywhere. They're trying to find her in the last places she was seen, or they're contacting people to see if she is contacting other people. They're doing anything they can to find this poor missing girl. A few days later, ironically, Brian goes missing. Nobody knows where he is. His parents don't know where he is. So now he is a missing person and they're looking for him too. About a month later, they narrow down the search area to where Gabby could possibly be, finding video evidence from another travel couple going through a park, and they see the van on the side of the road. So that really narrows down their search area. They're searching for about 3 days, and they find Gabby's body deceased in the middle of, the desert, pretty much. They call the parents and inform them that their daughter has passed away. They were devastated. In the documentary, it shows them just breaking down crying. I could not imagine losing my daughter after, and not having no idea what happened to her or anything. After finding Gabby's body, no one knew where Brian was still. They couldn't find him either. They continued the search for him. The park reopens after it had been closed, after there was reason to think that Brian could be there. The parents go, they try to find him, and somehow they just know exactly where he's at. They find Brian's body on the floor, deceased, and a waterproof backpack next to him with pictures of Gabby and Brian in the bag. And there is a notebook with letters to all of his family. There is also a story in the notebook talking about what happened to Gabby. It pretty much just says that he found her in the river. She had hit her head and in so much pain, and she was wishing for the pain to go away, so he killed her. I believe this story is so crazy because you never know what could happen. This really opens my eyes to people that are in abusive relationships, and you never know how a person really is. I also think that it's so crazy that Brian's parents knew about this and covered it up for him. Later on, it shows that there was a note in Brian's car from his mother, pretty much saying that she would do anything for him. If you killed a body, I would bring you a shovel, all this stuff. And I just think that it's the letter was labeled burn before or burn after you read. And that's what it said. It was a list of all the things that she would do for him. And in there it says, I would bring you a shovel if you killed someone to bury the body. What kind of mother does that? That's so scary. If my son killed someone, I would not be covering it up for him. That's crazy to me. The big picture is I really think that we need to, really think about who we are spending time with and who the person is that we are with. And if you are ever at any point uncomfortable with anyone you are around, you need to get away and not stay there and not deal with it. Because this is what happens when abusive relationship just gets taken too far. And it's so sad. And I just think that it's really important for people to realize this and really understand how bad it could possibly be. That was one crazy story. Remember, if you want to watch it for yourself, it's on Netflix. So, John, what do you think about this?
You know, I think it's just sad, but I mean, it's good for the family to know who the killer is and that he's finally in jail.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Sorry to interrupt, but we have breaking news out in Chicago with Dejanay and Izzy live at the scene right now.
Thank you, Carl. Today is February 25th, 2025. We are live at Chicago Midway International Airport where a near collision occurred involving a Southwest Airlines Flight 2504 and a private Bombardier Challenger 350 jet operated by FlexJet. The Southwest flight was about to land when the private jet crossed the runway without authorization, where the Southwest pilot then had to execute a go-around maneuver to avoid a potential collision.
Now, time for some background. Midway Airport is known for its complex runway layout inside a densely populated area, which in the past has contributed to safety challenges. This incident is a part of a concerning trend of a near-miss events in the U.S. invasion, raising questions about runway safety protocols and air traffic control effectiveness.
Why is this story relevant? This incident emphasizes the importance of following the strict air traffic control instructions and communication between pilots and controllers to make sure passengers are safe. It also highlights the need for continuous evaluation and improvement of safety protocols at busy airports like Midway.
Now, what's the impact? While no injuries have occurred, the event has heightened public concern about the aviation safety, especially given the recent increase in similar near-miss incidents. The Federal Aviation Administration is investigating the incident to determine the causes and prevent failure occurrences.
And what's the big picture in all this? Despite these incidents, aviation remains one of the safest modes of transportation. The National Transportation Safety Board reports that 2025 is on track for fewer fatal aviation accidents compared to previous years. However, each near miss serves as a reminder of the need for vigilance and continuous improvement in safety measures.
Our opinion is that this near collision at Midway Airport highlights how crucial it is for enhancements in aviation safety protocols to continue. While the quick response of the Southwest pilots prevented a catastrophe, relying just on human intervention is not just sustainable safety strategy. Investments in advanced warning system, extensive training for air traffic controllers, and strict enforcement of communication protocols are essential to reduce risk and maintain public confidence in air travel.
We'll continue this story as more details come in. Let's turn it over to John and Carl for more.
That last story kind of scared me a little bit. I don't think I'm ever going to use a plane again. I need a hug. Too bad Carl's out using the ladies' room. But at least the next story, it's going to be funny, and my heartache's going to get a little break, and we're going to be better. Thank you, Riley. Thank you. Let's watch it.
Hi, I'm Riley. Are you having a bad day? Because you won't be after this story. It's crazy. When I heard it, I was like, what? So, these men get together in Florida and pretty much have Florida games. And all these men battle against each other in all these different games to be put onto a bracket to be the worst superhero of Florida. Interesting, right? When I heard about this, I thought it was very weird because why would you want to be a bad superhero? If anything, you want to be like a good superhero, right? But apparently it's like a big thing. Like a lot of people come together and do this together to become a bad superhero. I don't know. I guess you never know with Florida. This sounds crazy, but honestly, it's probably pretty fun. It looks pretty fun after all these pictures. compete to be the worst superhero? What do you think Superman would think of this? That was one crazy story. I hope it brightened your day. Back to you, John.
What are you watching there, Carl?
This week's viral video, it's about the tortilla challenge. Have you heard of it?
No, what is it?
Well, it's about they do rock, paper, scissors, and they slap each other, and whoever loses. It's quite hilarious. You guys want to see?
We're taking a closer look at the viral tortilla slap challenge, which has been gaining widespread attention on social media.
You know, the trend is fun and all, but I think there's a darker backstory to it.
There really is. So people have been being called spoiled and bratty for doing this trend because not everyone out there can afford food like that. And people are over here wasting it by just slapping it on people, which may be funny, but you know, people actually need that, and it's causing inflation on the tortilla, which people eat, and you know.
Yeah. You know, coming from a political aspect, people are called racist because during protests they would throw tortillas at them like frisbees.
I heard they did that
Yeah.
also at sporting events. Just because people are Mexican, they throw tortillas at them.
Yeah.
So what
It's
I'm
horrible.
wondering is, what if that became the challenge after what happened there because of the racism, and now it's a challenge?
I don't know, but we'll see.
Hopefully we'll get more news on that.
We'll be testing the challenge with our crew to see what all the excitement is about. Let's go.
All right, so the rules of the game are there's going to be two people. They're going to put some water in their mouths, and they're going to play rock, paper, scissors. Whoever wins gets to slap the other person. They're going to do it 3 times. Then the winner gets to go on to the next bracket.
Round 1. Ding, 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 ding. Round 2.
Since I already won and Brooklyn decided not to let me hit her, we're going to give her a free slap.
Skylar advances to the next round.
Round 1 for Izzy and Dejanay.
Round 2. Round 3.
Dejanay moves up in the bracket. Dejanay emerges victorious.
And the winner of our tortilla challenge is Dejanay. And Skylar, you're our loser. Would you say that was a tortilla-able experience?
Yes. It was horrible. I don't like to lose, but she did good. She got me in the head quite a few times. On to the next.
Don't go away.
We'll be back after these messages.
No, Jerry. It's a lovely day outside. We should go for a walk. Let's go, honey.
Come on, dear.
Am you okay over there? Jerry! Only I had life alert.
done with TV for today. Time to go to bed. I can't get up. Good thing I have my AI life support.
Good thing I have my life support.
Someone call a paramedic.
And that's why you should get implanted Life Alert today, because then you could get fine paramedics like this one.
Some side effects may include headaches, nausea, dizziness, muscle weakness, rashes or skin irritation, fatigue, blurred vision, insomnia, sweating, back pain, increased urination, itching, loss of appetite, shortness of breath, swelling in the legs or ankles, heart palpitations, vomiting, cough, tremors, dehydration, or death.
Welcome back. While viral challenges may be fun, it's time to turn our focus to something a little more serious.
Now we turn it over to Cruz, who's live at the fire station with an in-depth look at how the wildfires raging across California are affecting our firefighters.
Cruz, what can you tell us?
Thank you, Carl. I'm here with...
Hi, my name is Austin Wolf. I'm a firefighter paramedic for the CAL FIRE Riverside County Fire Department. I'm stationed at Station 85 and at McVicker Park in the city of Lake Elsinore.
And I'm going to be asking you some questions about how the recent fires have taken a toll on some of the local firefighters.
Okay.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, how stressful was it when California was dealing with the recent wildfires?
I'd say it was probably about a 7 out of 10. Not the most stressful it could be, but it was particularly stressful. I personally, this time, for these most recent fires, I didn't get sent on any assignments or any strike teams, but we did send out a lot of equipment, and, when we send things away, there still has to be people that answer 911 calls when there's still fires going on. So I was here behind working on an engine, still handling all the 911 calls for the local area. And when we have all of our people gone, unfortunately, somebody still has to be at work, so we all get held on duty. And, I think I worked around 9 days in a row, and you can imagine running multiple calls a day, multiple calls a night for 9 days in a row without a break, without proper sleep. It gets to be quite stressful and mentally, emotionally, and physically taxing.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what is the stress level now that the wildfires are contained?
Now that the fires are contained, I'd say stress is back to normal. But, just in this line of work, if I had to put a number on it, I'd say that just showing up to work is on an average day is a 4 out of 10. You never know what's going to happen when you show up. You could show up and you could be gone for the next 3 days or the next week. You have no idea what's going to happen. So it's just a stressful environment to be put in where you never know what's going to happen to you. There's no structure to what's going to go for the day. Like I said, anything could happen. So it's a bit stressful on that end.
I'd also like to ask, is it easier on you guys now that you guys have more equipment back here? Is it like less calls that you guys are running a day? Is it easier on you guys?
It's slightly easier because let's say a station down the street that engine went and got put on assignment, that they may not have had another piece of equipment to backfill there or the personnel to backfill there. So we may have been picking up our calls as well as their calls. So our call volume may have gone up. And now that everybody's back with more people in place, the regular equipment back in place, not only does it mean that they're handling their own calls, but it also means that we're not getting held. So I get to go home at the end of my shift.
How do you manage stress while you're in the middle of a call or while you're dealing with something?
I think managing stress in the middle of a call, like on an emergency situation, really any stressful situation, a lot of it comes down to experience. A lot of the calls I've been on, obviously I haven't ran every call or every type of call, but a lot of them I've kind of been there before, so I have a good idea of what I need to do, what my next moves are. And sometimes when I find myself in a situation where I'm particularly stressed, I practice what's called a tactical pause. Stop for a second, reevaluate what's going on, reevaluate the situation, reevaluate what my plan is, stop and take a deep breath, and also use whoever, we're a team at the fire department. Whoever's with me, I make sure that I utilize them and whatever they have to offer for me. So if I need to stop and step away for a second, I can look to my partners and start delegating tasks or ask them, say, hey, I'm not sure if I should turn left or right here. What's your guys' idea? How should we approach the situation so we can provide whatever it is? If it's a medical aid, the best patient care possible, or if we're on a fire, however we can best manage that incident and also maintain our safety and the safety of the public at the same time.
Do you find it difficult to switch off and like bring your stress levels down after a long shift?
It's incredibly difficult. The longer the shift, the harder it is. If I am not having to work so much overtime, ordered overtime is a thing, unfortunately. They just tell you have to go to work and you don't really have a choice. It's hard to turn it off. I have an agreement at home with my wife and whoever else is at home at the time, family, friends, whatever. They pretty much know that my first day home to kind of leave me alone. Don't speak to me unless spoken to. It's probably not the best way to manage it, but it's the way that I know how to do it. I know that I can go do something that I like for a little bit. If that means I go play video games for a couple hours and decompress, then that's what I go do to try and level off that stress and put myself back in a mindset of being at home, that I don't have to worry about what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. I don't have to worry if there's a call that's going to drop or what's going to happen. That I'm at home, I'm safe, and that's all I need to worry about.
Do you have any advice that you would possibly give to a new firefighter on ways to handle their stress and to calm down during a stressful situation?
My advice for a new firefighter would be just to always listen to the guys and gals who've been on the job for a while. Take the advice that they have to offer for you. And like I was saying before, we're a team. Utilize your team members in every way possible. You may be really good at one thing and really bad at another thing, and same vice versa for your partner. They may be really good at the thing that you're not very good at. So you guys can come together, collaborate as a team, and come to a solution together on the situation and provide the best care possible or the best management of the incident possible.
Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Out of the 10 Riverside County firefighters that I've interviewed, they all had somewhere right around the same level of stress for when the fires were here, and those were all decently high numbers. And then when the wildfires were no longer here, some of their stress levels varied, but some of them were still pretty similar. So it seems like being a firefighter is a very stressful job, even when there is no fires. When there is fires, just even being a regular day at the station still seems like it could be very stressful.
Thank you, crews, for that eye-opening report.
Our thoughts are with all those on the front lines.
That's
after.
No, it's not.
Do you not see the dot, dot, dot?
I already read that part.
No. Dot, dot, dot means we're going to be talking about stuff in the middle of this.
What happens when you mess with me?
That's all for tonight's broadcast.
We appreciate you tuning in.
I'm Skylar.
I'm Brooklyn.
I'm Dejanay.
And I'm Missy.
And that was live from 553.